Yo, what's poppin', y'all? It's Brother Frona back at it with finally the first Nikke video on the channel. I do apologize for it taking this long to actually put out a Nikke video. There really is only two reasons behind why. The first one being the most obvious, which is the fact that Persona got a major update patch for the 2.0 update, of course. And while the current update in Nikke Coins in Rush has been a lot of fun to actually play through and enjoy the story, obviously with a major update, I already knew it was going to take a lot of my attention when it came to actually making content. And the second reason is actually a bit of a more interesting one. I've been seeing a lot of YouTube policy changes going around recently, and it seems like it's been affecting a lot of different content in a negative aspect, with of course Nikke being in that category. It seems like a lot of content creators are having their videos kind of receive the restriction treatment, which obviously isn't ideal, but at the end of the day we're going to push through. Obviously I do want to make content for this game, so regardless of what happens, we're just gonna see how things go and see how things pan out. Obviously, I know SHIFTUP and Tencent are gonna enjoy seeing a lot of their content creators' videos be restricted, so maybe they'll try to have their hand in things, but at the end of the day, only time will tell. But having said that, what a better way to start off with the Nikke video than the fact that we got recently announced the next update for the game, of course being the Resident Evil collab itself, which, for me personally, I don't have any strong feelings on either side of the spectrum when it comes to Resident Evil. I'm not a huge mega fan, but I'm also not a hater of the series, so I'm kind of in the middle. But they have recently put out a bunch of different posts on Twitter regarding the collaboration itself. So let's go ahead and jump into it, because there actually is quite a bit to cover, starting off with the most important being the characters actually being introduced in this update. The first one that got announced was, of course, Wong, being the first limited pickup recruitment banner for the collaboration. And of course, since it is a collaboration, do remember that once the update itself is over, you cannot obtain these characters again, unless for whatever reason SHIFTUP creates another contract with the Resident Evil IP owners to bring it out again. Don't expect these characters to come back anytime soon once the event is gone. But having said that, I will say I have already seen the designs for all the characters in the collaboration, and I actually do thoroughly enjoy how they kind of went about designing them. I do wish they kind of would have done this kind of art style with the face for Eve when it comes to the Stellar Blade collab, but that's long in the past, nothing we can do about that anymore at this point. But yep, Ada Wong will be the first character for the Resident Evil collab. Second up, we have this name I actually have seen quite a bit, even though I'm not a fan. Of course, Jill Valentine. She will be the next character releasing for the Resident Evil collab. And even though on the post it says they'll be releasing simultaneously, that's never the case. She will release a week after Ada comes out into the game, so do keep that in mind if you're not someone who's familiar with Nikke. And then the third character being released, which is actually going to be the free SR character for the event, will be Claire Redfield. So do let me know in the comments down below if you think these are some good picks for the collab. Again, I'm not a fan of the series, so I'm not sure, but I do recognize at least two of these names, so I'm sure they're probably the most common, or I guess you say the most obvious picks for the collab. But do let me know if you wish they would have shown someone else, or if you wish they would have done, a swap around with making one of these characters the free SR and one of the other ones, or at least making Claire the SSR. But either way, we are going to get her from the 14-day login event. We'll be able to obtain the base copy as well as 2 dupes to get her to max limit break, I should say. Of course, by completing the second story mode as well as the hard campaign mode, or the hard story mode for the event itself. Now with that, we'll move on to the next bit, which should be the actual promotional art for the event itself. Looking at it off the bat, we can already see that ACPU as well as D, surprisingly, is going to be the featured Nikkes for this event. And just to do a little tin hat foil, or what the hell, tinfoil hat, Jesus, I can't speak today, tinfoil hat conspiracy theory. I feel like the fact that ACPU is being featured in this event, I'm kind of hoping that they structure the narrative for the story to be like the Halloween event for the year, because obviously this is going to be a 3-week event. By the time it's over, we're pretty much going to have 1 to 2 weeks before 3rd anniversary. So I mean, they could still obviously squeeze in an actual Halloween event in between, I'm sure, but I actually do kind of hope that they do Resident Evil as like the Halloween collab of the year, or the Halloween event of the year, I should say, because not only would it be a fun twist, but it also would give a bigger reason to the writing team to actually make a half decent collaboration story, because as you know, if you play this game, collaboration stories are very much hit or miss, with a lot of the time it being a miss. So I'll look to see something different when it comes to the collab stories and not just being the same chase gatekeeper 8 million times over and over again type of story. But having said that, we'll move on to the next post, which is actually the official PV for the event. Make sure the volume's not too loud here. It is 1 minute and 30 seconds long. So let's see what they're cooking up. Looking like some heretics. I'm assuming they're called in this game because they're like religious nuts. You got Polly going on. Oh shit. Alright. Maybe this will be the Halloween event. Shoot. They're gonna be pushing the horror aspects. Why not? D and the Commander? Yes, sir. Looking drippy as always. There goes Ada. I mean, let's face it, Ada, you are not beating a Nikke in combat. I am sorry. She's a cyborg. There's your Valentine. Oh, POV? You know what? Sorry to pause here, but the fact that they had that POV shot, that'd actually be kind of crazy, or kind of fire actually, if they did like the mini game in that style. I don't know how the hell they do it, but if they did like a Resident Evil POV type of mini game, that would be fire. Whoa, who was that? I have no idea who that is. We can't up with the quality. I mean, we're just cooked, but who is this character right here? I assume it's going to be a new NPC that's special design for this event. Interesting, interesting. There goes the Raptures. Okay, Miranda. Helping out the team. Okay, Query. Blind as hell. Not sure how she's shooting shit. Another religious nut. Okay, okay. Not bad PV, I will say. Again, this event should be the next event coming up, so we should be getting it around next Wednesday, next Thursday. And then up next we have, surprisingly, I did not see this coming at all. Even though D was featured in the event, I did not expect her to receive a gacha costume for this event. I mean, obviously, if you play this game, you're already going to have your opinions on gacha costumes. Either you love them or you hate them, depending on who it is. Me personally, it does look good, but am I going to think of getting it? Probably not. I mean, I guess we'll have to see when we actually get the burst skill animation. That might have to be the deciding factor for me, but I do like D Killer Wife's original design, so I do not feel inclined to get this one, I will say, but hey, I mean, it's SHIFTUP. They're obviously going to try their hardest to make this as much bait as possible for people to spend their money on, so D Killer Wife Secret Police costume coming soon to the game. Of course, gacha costume is going to be $60 coming out your pocket. $60 USD, so I mean, hey, you might not catch me getting it, you might catch me getting it, and we'll see. And then for the actual recent post that we got today, because all those posts that I showed were, I believe all of them were from yesterday, yeah. So this one and the next one coming up will be today's post. We do have the shooting pose for Ada, and she does have a crossbow weapon, which is pretty sick, I will say. I do like how they're really trying to think outside of the box for these collabs and not just do basic ass guns for all the characters. Given that it's a crossbow, what would this even be realistically, weapon type wise? I think it has to be either sniper or rocket launcher. I doubt it could be anything else. I'd be surprised if it was something else actually. But I would assume sniper, but I guess we'll just have to see what type of ammo she's using. And then, last but not least, we have the actual default standing pose animation for Ada. Let's go ahead and look at it. Also, clearly I'm fried because I mean, obviously I didn't look at all of these beforehand, but it literally says she's a rocket launcher in this post, so I guess now we know she is a rocket launcher crossbow character, which is pretty interesting. I wonder how they're gonna design her kit around that. If I had to guess, well, I mean, what burst would I even want her to be, really? The last collab, Solar Blade, we had 2 burst 3 characters, and the free SR was, oh gosh, I already forgot. Either burst 1 or burst 2, it really doesn't matter because they're SR, so no one's using them, but the last 2 SSRs were both burst 3s, so I'm hoping, excuse me, it's not the same thing again. I'd like to see definitely a burst 1 and a burst 2 for the SSR units this time around, so we can get less DPS collab characters and more supportive ones, because, I mean, look at Mari from Evangelion, she's still being used to this day because of how good she is as a buffer, so that's going to do it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, do plan to bring a lot more Nikke content to the channel. I do just have to kind of navigate how I'm going to go about doing it with the recent policy changes going on for YouTube. Again, hopefully that stuff gets resolved pretty quickly, because if all the videos I make for the game going forward just all get restricted, then it's definitely going to suck. But like I said, it's not going to stop me because I enjoy this game. I've been playing it since day 1, so best believe I'm going to be there. Obviously, if you're a fan of Resident Evil, I'm sure you'll enjoy this collab, but if you're not a fan of the series, then at the end of the day, just skip it. Even though they might not ever come back to the game again, at the end of the day, who cares? They're collabs. Either you love them or you hate them, and if you want to get them, go for them. If you don't want them, then skip them. It ain't going to hurt you at all. Again, I mean, the main thing for me when it comes to this collab and my opinions on it is really just the timing of it is less than ideal. I mean, obviously in past years it's been kind of tradition to receive a collab around September time, but in one of the last dev notes, not like last, but like a few dev notes ago, the developers did say we're going to get like 3 collaborations this year, and unless they don't count the Nier rerun as one of those collabs, then we already got all 3 of those collabs for the year, so I was not expecting a 4th one to come out at all. I would much rather prefer this to come out as the first collab for next year, but again, like I said, if they are doing what I'm kind of theorizing and kind of making this the Halloween-esque event of the year, then I guess they can't really wait till next year to release it, but I mean, we'll see. For me personally, am I going to summon for the characters? I'm not going to lie, yeah. Even though I'm not a fan of the series, I am a collector when it comes to the collab characters, because again, you never know if they're going to come back or not, and it is just, you know, kind of cool to say I have them all on my account, so I'm going to summon for them. Hopefully I get them nice and easy, just one-tap both of them so I don't even have to worry about it, because we are getting 3rd Anni, again, like, either pretty much right after this event, if not, you know, an event in between. Then we have the Christmas Limiteds. Then we have New Year's Pilgrim banner, plus the New Year's rerun banner for Red Hood Roppy for those that missed her, because they always rerun the previous year's New Year's character. And then before that, you had 8 million limited characters in the span of months. So, I mean, I don't know what ShiftUp's kind of thinking, putting all these banners so close together throughout the year. I think they need to slow the hell down a little bit and just go back to dropping more new standard characters, because, I mean, if you're a free-to-play player, especially, I don't know how the hell you've been managing this year at all. And if you're a player who's not only free-to-play, but started during this year alone, either during like the half Anni, which is when a lot of people come to the game, or during the summer event even, or any of the previous collabs, I mean, you're just cooked. You're actually just cooked. There's so many banners that were jam-packed together with all limited characters and 1% banners that, I mean, let me know down in the comments how you've been managing, because for me, as a veteran, I didn't have to summon for pretty much any of the reruns because I already had them all. But for those of you that want to get those characters, either for the sake of, you know, having the meta ones that exist in that pool, or just design-wise because they're all really good, I mean, yeah, you definitely have to make some sacrifices, because I just don't understand how you can survive all these banners back to back to back. I will say, as we're getting to this state of the game, we definitely need to see a huge increase, not even huge, but just any increase at all in just general currency in the game. I feel like there's no reason why we should be getting events with, especially the absolute event where we had 3 standard characters in one event patch, and we're still only getting 1 multi per banner for standard and limited, or rate up rather, per event still, which is the same thing we've been getting since day 1. At least bump it up to like 15 to 20 at least. I feel like that's not too much to ask for, but hey, what do I know? I'm not going to turn this into too much of a rant, because this video will go on for hours. I'm not even kidding you. But that's going to do it for this one. Hope you guys enjoy. If you want to see more Nikke content, let me know down in the comments below. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, y'all.